Hello, my name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the math portion of the GRE. We have been solving math problems out of this book here, the official guide to the GRE, the revised general test. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 154. Page 154, number 13. Before I get into the solution of this problem that you see there on the top of page 154, today is our lesson number 49. Before I actually start solving this problem, I would like you to watch, after watching this video, I would also like you to watch, just type in this tag, just type in the tag GRE Math Day 53, page 227. Page 227 of the 10th edition, this book right here that I'm holding in my hand, which is the old GRE workbook, GRE General Test, the 10th edition. This test was based on the old format, but there are some questions that are repeated in the new book, the book that you have in your hand. I would like you to watch that video. Just type in Day 53, page 227, 10th edition. It should pop right up. Let's see what, and I'm going to actually do that problem first, the problem that appears on page 227 of the 10th edition. I'm going to do that first because they're very similar questions. I want you to understand this question first before we do the one that we have on our hands. So here's the problem. We're given a triangle. R, S, and T. And if you want to make it interesting, I don't want you to feel that there is some significance to this line being horizontal or looking like a right angle or something. So I'm just going to make it a little bit more interesting. R, S, and T. And the question is simply this. Column A, column B. They want you to compare ST plus TR versus RS. Let's take a look at it one more time. ST, and then RS. ST plus TR versus RS. And our job simply is to tell them which column is bigger. I want you to pause the video, give it some thought. You might be able to do it in a couple of seconds. It might require some more time depending on however long it takes you. Pause the video, solve it. When you have the answer, you can resume the video. .61% of the people who took this particular exam had no problem with this question, but about 2/5 of the people did miss this question. They had trouble with it. In answering this question, which column is bigger, what they're trying to see here is if you understand the most fundamental concept about what a triangle is. So let's ask ourselves that question. What is a triangle? Sounds like a pretty absurd question to me, but what is it? Can you articulate in simple terms, intuitively? I'm not looking for some mathematical definition, I'm not looking for some geeky, nerdy definition of what a triangle is. I'm looking for something on an intuitive level, on a gut level. Can you explain to me, can you give to me an intuitive definition of what a triangle is? A triangle is nothing but a detour. It's nothing but a detour between 2 points. Or better yet, it's a detour from point A to point B. Instead of taking a direct route from A to B, instead of taking a direct route from A to B, instead of taking a direct route from A to B, we make a stop. We make a stop at point C. We make a stop at point C. For example, I want to go from A to B here. Here's my A, here's the town A, here's the town B. Instead of going directly from A to B, I make a stop at C. But there's your triangle. Instead of going directly from A to B, I make a stop at C. That's your triangle. So we make a stop. So let's draw a few possible detours of A and B. Where can I do that? I shouldn't have occupied this room here. Well, you already have it now, so I'm going to erase this thing. We already have it here. So I'm going to erase this thing. Here's our point A to B. We have two choices. We can go directly from A to B, or we can make a detour. So we're going to make a few detours. I'm going to show you a few detours. What I'm trying to make you understand is that the triangle does not need to be of any particular shape. It does not need to be an isosceles triangle, or equilateral triangle, or acute triangle, or obtuse triangle. Any triangle, any old triangle that you may have is nothing but a detour between two lines. I could go directly from point A to point B, which is the direct route, which is the shortest distance, a straight line, or I can make a few detours here. So I'm going to make a few detours here. This is a possibility. This is a possibility. Or I can do this. Or I can go like that. Or I can go like that. Or I can go like that. And before you know it, you got a nice Sydney Opera House there. But all of these are detours. These are all possible detours. These are all point C's. These are all C's. And all of these make a triangle. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6. So we have A, C1B, A, C2B, A, C3B, so on and so forth. And these are all triangles. These are detours from A to B, or you can say that it's a detour from A to C1. I can go directly from A to C1, or I can go from A to B and then to C1. It's a detour. I can go directly from C1 to B. I'm at town C1. I can go directly to B, or I can go from C1 to A and then to B. What does it tell us? What am I trying to say here in a very roundabout way? What we're trying to say here is this. Therefore, because we're making a detour, therefore this symbol right here means therefore the sum of the two sides of any triangle will always be more than the third side, because the sum of the two sides represents the detour. The sum of the two sides, which represents the detour. A to C1, that's A to C1 plus C1 to B, this sum will always be greater than direct route from A to B. Why? Because it's a detour, that's why it's called a detour. A detour by definition is something that's longer than the most direct route. And that is always true about any triangle. Any triangle, doesn't have to be any particular triangle. So now let's solve the problem that we have at our hand. I need the room, so I need to erase this stuff here. So one more time before I erase it. A triangle, what is a triangle? A triangle is nothing but a detour from point A to point B. A direct route from point A to point B is a straight line. If you take anything other than a straight line, the shortest distance between any, which is why it's called the shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line. Therefore, if you take anything other than that, you're going to end up traveling more, and therefore the sum of those two sides will always be more than the third side, which is the direct route. Now let's do the problem that I put there before. The question was, which column is bigger? Which column is bigger here? Here we have R to S, and then from S to T, and the column A was ST plus TR, and column B was RS. Let me put the RS in a different color so you can see it. Okay, watch what happens here. I'm in town R. I'm in town R. I want to go to S. I have two choices. I can just get in my car and drive straight to S, or I can first go to T and then go to S. Obviously I'm taking a detour, and since I'm taking a detour, I'm going to end up driving more. That's all, we're done. The answer is A. The sum of the two sides, the sum of the two sides right here will always be greater than the third side. That's all they are trying to say in this problem. And yet almost 2/5 of the people who took the exam, 40% of the people who took the exam, had trouble with it, because they are sitting there and trying to figure out the length of these sides, and they are saying to themselves, well, since there is nothing given in the triangle, no information is given at all, it's just a triangle with three sides and that's all they give you. How the hell am I supposed to know what the sum of the two sides are? Well, you're absolutely right. There is no way to figure out the sum of the two sides, but that's not what they were asking. They were simply asking there, do you understand the fact that the sum of the two sides of any triangle, the sum of the two sides of any triangle will always be more than the third side. That's all they were trying to see here. Now let's do the problem that we have at our hand. I need the room again, so I need to erase this thing, okay? Now, in this particular question that is given to us, I'm not going to erase the bottom part because that is the gist of the whole problem. That is the essence of the whole problem. This is what they're trying to see here. That is the nub of the whole problem. Oh boy, where can I put nub? NUB, nub was the word that I just used. If you're interested in learning this word, I shouldn't have gone there because I do not have my list of words with me. Just give me 10 seconds. I'm going to run down to my next room in my office and I'll be right back. The word that I just used was nub, N-U-B, nub. And if you're interested in learning it, just type in vocabulary. Just type in this tag, vocabulary day 11, and you will find this vocabulary video and learn this word. In addition to the math video that you're watching, you will also find on my channel some vocabulary video which will help you raise your scores in the verbal part of the exam. It doesn't matter whether you're preparing for the SAT or the GRE or the GMAT. These words are good to know for any of these exams. It will help you build your vocabulary. Anyway, enough said. Let's take a look at what we have here. Here, what we have here is, here we have a triangle with sides 5 and 9. 5 and 9. The third side, therefore, the third side, whatever it may be, cannot be more than or equal to 5 plus 9. Because 5 plus 9 is a detour. If I have a triangle here, watch what happens. I'm telling you that if I travel from town A to town B, I'm going to travel 5 miles. And then I'm also telling you that if I travel from B to C, I'm going to travel additional 9 miles. Well, if I'm going to travel 5 miles here and additional 9 miles there, then the direct route, whatever it is, from A to C, has to be less than 14 miles, because that's why it's called the direct route A to C. The sum of the two sides always has to be more than the third side. So the third side of this given triangle that we have there cannot be more than 14. Let's see what the answer choices are. Let's see what the answer choices are. Where can we put the answer choices? I'm running out of room, big time. Let's put them here. Answer choice A, B, C, and D. What does A say? A says 3, 5, 8 and 15. There you go. D says 15. It is not possible. The third side of the triangle cannot be more than the sum of these two sides. The sum of these two sides is only 14. How can the third side be 15? If that were the case, what you're going to end up telling me is that if you go directly from town A to town B, you're going to travel 15 miles, but if you take a detour, you're going to travel 14 miles. It's absurd. It's a triangle. The sum of the two sides, those two sides, 5 and a 9 has to be more than 15, which of course is not. Therefore, 15 is not possible. The third side, let's continue here. The third side, the missing side we're talking about, also cannot be 3. Also cannot be 3, which is our answer choice 3, which is our answer choice A. Why? Because in that case, what we will have is a triangle. We will have a triangle with sides 3, 5 and 9. 9. What happens here? This 5 and 9 are given to us, 5 and 9. If you're going to claim that the third side is 3, we again run into the same problem. We're going to end up having a triangle where the sum of the two sides, 3 and a 5, is less than the 9. It is not possible. That's all, it's not possible. So A is not possible. I'm going to show you now how the other two answers are possible, but I'm seriously running out of room here, so I'm going to erase everything. You already got this concept, so I'm going to erase this too. Let's look at, I'm going to show you now how B and C are possible. What does B say? B says 5. What, is it possible? Is it possible to have a triangle? The question is, is it possible to have a triangle with sides 5 and 9 where the third side turns out, I cannot write today, I don't know why, where the third side turns out to be 5. To which the answer is, why not? Of course it's possible. Like this. This is 5, this is 5, and this is 9. It's not drawn to scale, don't worry about it. Get used to it, because something like this may appear in your exam, because pictures from the GRE, as I always remind you, the pictures from the GRE are not drawn to scale. So this will be a legitimate picture to appear on the exam. You have no right to complain, how come this side 9 is smaller than these two sides? Because it's not drawn to scale. The bloody thing is not drawn to scale. They tell you that in the exam from the very beginning. All the pictures from the GRE are not drawn to scale. So it is possible. A to B may be 5, B to C might be maybe 5, and A to C might be 9. What we have here is an isosceles triangle. What we have here is an isosceles triangle. Which of course is possible, why not? Let's ask the next question. Let's ask the next question. Is it possible Is it possible? Is it possible to have a triangle with sides 5 and 9 where the third side turns out to be 8? To which the answer is, why not? It will simply be this. One side is, let me read, it will not look like this. It will no longer be an isosceles triangle, but it will be a triangle which is going to be almost an isosceles, almost, and I'll show you how. Something like this. This side may be 9, which is this right here. Where did 9 go? Right here. This side may be 9. This side is your 8 that we saw here. This side is 8. And then finally this side right here is 5. And that is a legitimate triangle. It is a legitimate triangle because the sum of any two sides is always more than the third side. 9 plus 8 is more than 5. 9 plus 5 is more than 8. 5 plus 8 is more than 9. It is a legitimate triangle. It is almost an isosceles triangle. This side happens to be 8 inches long. This side happens to be 9 inches long. And the bottom there is 5 inch. Voila. That's it. So in this particular question, the correct answers are B and C. B is possible and C is possible, but A and D are not possible. That's all. We're done. So unless you check mark both B and C, you will not get credit. But one more time, this was a very straightforward, very simple question for somebody who understood the concept, and hopefully you understand it now, so that when you come across something similar to this in the future, it will take you no more than 10 seconds. It should take no more than 10 to 15 seconds. It was a very simple question. Just look at the triangle. You got a 5 and a 9. If you get a triangle with a side 5 and a triangle with side 9, the sum is 14. It cannot have another side with 15. It's not possible. It can also not have a third side being equal to 3, because if third side were 3, it's a hypothetical statement. If it were 3, then 3 plus 5, sum of these two sides, 3 plus 5, would have been less than the third side. It is not possible. You cannot go from town A to town B, drive 9 miles and tell me that, well, if you take a detour, you're going to drive only 8 miles. It's insane. That's all. We are done. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 50. Okay? Bye now.